Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 2 of House of the Dragon. I'm going to do my best to be thorough but brief in this review. Let's get down to it real quick. Okay, slide in the comments and let me know if you prefer longer or shorter videos. I feel like in this age of like instant gratification, we want to be in and out, so I'm going to do my best. Don't judge me. Doing my best with what I got. Okay, so King Viserys has not known peace since he was made king of all the things, okay? It's always, you need a male heir. Then it's, well, you killed your wife, so now you need a new wife, and people is asking questions. Now you got the crab feeder who is a pirate who is taking ships in the Stepstones, okay? This is affecting Lord Corlys's money, okay? He needs his coins, and like if his ships are getting pirated, basically, the flow of goods it's not gooding. The flow isn't there, okay? The math isn't mathing. So he's like, can we have like a show of force? Can we do something to show these folks don't come for us? The free cities kind of operate a little bit outside of the Seven Kingdoms, outside of the realm. That's why they're called the free cities. Like Bravos, Pintos, those people, they kind of do their own thing, but the small council is like, but you also need to let them know who runs shit. Like, yeah, y'all are free, but you're not really free. Like, you can't really just be out here messing up free trade and impacting our economy. So Viserys is trying to do things diplomatically. He's like, look, I done sent folks to see if we can reach some common ground, and it's giving Ned Stark. Can you really be diplomatic with people who feed live people to crabs? No. You got to fight fire with fire, and you have dragons. You see what we're saying here? It's like, lay down the hammer, sweetie. And so once again, what Daemon said in a previous episode is that these folks think you weak is really coming to fruition. So not only is the small council on his ass about the Stepstones, and some people are like, we don't really want to go into war. And some people are like, bitch, maybe we need to. He also really needs to remarry. Again, it's the king's job to provide stability so that everyone feels safe. Keep everything the same. Don't go to war, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, you also need to seem like you're a very powerful ruler too. It's like you kind of can't win. He's in a tough spot. I will give him that. So he needs a new wife. And then also Daemon is out here trying it. Daemon stole a dragon egg and told these folks, like, I'm claiming Dragonstone as my own. Never mind Rhaenyra. I'm the rightful heir to the throne. Me and my boo getting married and she's pregnant. So I need to put this egg in with the baby like we do in our family. And yes, this is my second wife, but hey, as a Targaryen, I'm allowed to do that. They did it in Old Valyria. I'm gonna do what I want to do. He is basically saying, bitch, try it. Come get it back in blood. Now, Rhaenyra is like, we have dragons. We have dragon riders. Why don't you send them to the Stepstones? Why don't you send them to Daemon and lay down the law? Rhaenyra gets completely ignored because the other thing that's happening is that since Daemon is gone, they also need to replace the leader of the Kingsguard. So they're like, let Rhaenyra do that. Now, Rhaenyra decides that of all these knights, y'all have only really seen battle and jousting, okay? Because y'all are ultimately from houses where you don't really go into battle. We need people who actually are prepared for battle because it sounds like war might be coming, okay? I want to be protected. I want my daddy to be protected by somebody who actually knows what they're doing. So she chooses someone based on merit and not nepotism. Very different thing for these people. So the hand is kind of like, girl, I don't know. And I just want to go on record right now as saying that Otto Hightower cannot be trusted. I don't like how he's using his daughter, and I kind of get the feeling that he was using his daughter for himself, if you know what I mean. I don't like it. So also Rhaenys, I knew she was going to be a hater. Rhaenys is a cross between a hater and a realist. Like, she's like, girl, you only gonna be able to do so much. You only gonna be able to get so far. And Rhaenyra is like, bitch, speak for yourself. You don't know my life. I think this tension is going to be really good for character development, right? Lord Corlys has an idea. Now, Lord Corlys has been talking real spicy in the small council meetings. And it's like, sweetie, do not forget yourself. You here, but you don't run shit, okay? We want to hear what you got to say, but you don't run shit. So he comes to the king and he's like, look, my bad. I did a little bit too much, but here's what I'm thinking. why don't you marry my very young, tiny daughter? That way, both of our houses, Old Valyria and Targaryen, can show a united front. This will comfort the people in the realm. And then this also solidifies his position, and he can kind of get what he needs to get accomplished in terms of sending some manner of force to the stepstones to let these people know, stop feeding my people, the sailors, to crabs. Like, first of all, barbaric. Second of all, like, nigga, we need to get our things from shore to shore. Back off. So a lot of people were uncomfortable with this, okay? I think that it was intentionally exaggerated. Her youth was intentionally exaggerated so that it would be very clear. He is not about to marry this tiny child. Also, historically, this is in real life how things were really done. I understand people's discomfort with seeing them even walking and talking about this. However, nothing happened. It's fine. This is fictional. You should be uncomfortable with it. If you weren't uncomfortable with it, I would question you. But it's also just like nothing here happened. So let's just move on. But I do think that it was intentionally, because this girl is only supposed to be like 2-3 years younger than Alicent. And Alicent looks grown. That's a that's a child. So I feel like they wanted it to look like this man is not about to marry this fetus. Okay. Here's what I was also wondering. Lord Corlys and Rhaenys have a son. Why wouldn't they just marry the son to Rhaenyra? Not that Rhaenyra would go for it, because we know she doesn't want to be married, but Rhaenyra understands, like, she's made it clear to her father that she understands what his duty is to the realm and that he has to remarry. Alicent is a very tricky, clever little bitch. So she's already laid the groundwork or planted the seeds for Rhaenyra to be okay with her father remarrying. She conveniently left out that she was in the running to become America's Next Top Model herself, okay? So I feel like might have eventually gotten on board with the prospect of marrying Lord Corlys' son. So I don't know why they acted like there was only one option there, why that was skipped over. I have no idea. But ultimately, we'll get to what Viserys ultimately decides. So Viserys then decides, like, my brother done tried it. He done invited me to a wedding that he should not be having because he's already married. And he's laid claim to Dragonstone, which isn't really his seat. That's actually Rhaenyra's seat, okay? So he's like, I'm about to go pull up because I can't sit him to the watch. Let me go check my brother. And the Hand is like, sweetie, we're not going to allow you to do that. You're the king. You can't be running off, okay? So the Hand and some of the King's Guard pull up to Dragonstone, okay, where Daemon has not only laid claim to Dragonstone, he brought some of his loyal gold cloaks with him or whatever. And to be fair, the gold cloaks are supposed to be loyal to whoever their leader is, but it's like, that ain't y'all leader no more because we took away that position. So for whatever reason, they thought that it was smart to pull up to a dragon fight with no dragon. Bitch, why would you come with no dragon? Y'all got dragons. You know he got a dragon. You can't bring a knife to a dragon fight. What are you doing? So I was absolutely thrilled when Rhaenyra pulled up on her golden dragon, like, let me handle this because y'all aren't thinking this through. She basically told her uncle, if you feeling froggy, jump, bust a move. I'm the person you really need to kill because you're ultimately at my house, and I know this girl ain't really pregnant. I know that this quote unquote common whore is not really pregnant. So give me the egg and let's all just move on with our day. And it's like, you know what? Shouts out to you for calling his bluff because I would not have been that brave. As an aside, I also really enjoy that Mysaria did not appreciate being used as a pawn. I think that it was intentional to make her a more fully realized character, of her saying to him, and it's honestly giving Shay. It's just Shay 2.0 from Game of Thrones of like, you are a sex worker and you have been sold over and over again, but you really care about this man who has a questionable claim to the throne, and you come to him for freedom, you come to him for safety, and he's now using you as a pawn in the Game of Thrones. And she's like, listen, I came to you to be liberated, and you basically playing in my face, and you are going to be protected because you're a Targaryen. I'm a common whore. Okay, y'all, please don't cut that part of the video and post that. Anyway, she feels like she's a common whore sex worker. You know, ain't nobody gonna protect me. You gonna mess around and have my head on a spike. You done told these people we get married. You done told them I'm pregnant. And I done told you I don't want no babies. I told you that I will not be tied down. And I was like, Messiah said, fuck them kids. And like, honestly, why would he marry someone who's not going to give him more heirs? Because that is how you further solidify your claim. So he really is playing in her face and playing in his own face, actually, to be clear. So King Viserys is not happy that Rhaenyra ran off, because it's like, you are my only heir. If something happens to you, then what the hell? This is why I need to get remarried. And, you know, Rhaenyra is like, bruh, I get it. Mom will be on board with it. I'm on board with it. Do what you got to do. She had no idea what she was signing off on, because this man decided that he was going to announce that he is going to marry Alicent, you know, which absolutely thrills Otto Hightower. And I just want to say that man is such a spectacular actor. If you have not seen the most recent Kingsman movie, I love to watch something where I'm not immediately cognizant of like where I know the person from, because either by costume or by performance, they're so convincing in each role, like a really stellar character actor. That man be really given what needs to be given. Like, look up his videography. Love him down. Hate him, hate the character, but that is a stellar actor. He's excited because, again, this solidifies his position as the king, as the king's right hand, excuse me. But we don't trust him, because I feel like it's giving a little bit of Tywin Lannister. Like, are you going to ultimately try to ease your way into being king because your daughter is going to give him a male heir? I don't trust Otto Hightower. I don't think any of us do, except for King Viserys, clearly. So this pisses Lord Corlys off. Corlys is like, you know what? The enemy of my enemy is my homeboy. So he pulls up on Daemon and was like, listen, we share some similar interests. If you will team up with me to show, to display a show of force against the Stepstones, you might be able to make a more legitimate claim to the throne, because people will look to you to be less diplomatic and more forceful, more strong, more powerful than King Viserys. Like, it's also interesting to me, and I don't know if this was intentional, but Lord Corlys, of course, the Black guy had to actually like work for what he has. Of course, he had to get it out the mud. Of course, his investment in the Stepstones being put under control, his whole house depends on that. That's how they get their wealth, is through trade. If these trade routes are compromised because these pirates keep killing people and feeding them to crabs, my house ain't got no money. And I don't have family wealth to fall back on like the rest of you. And I don't know if that's intentional because he's Black, or if it's just a coincidence. But he also makes mention of the fact that, listen, you and I are second sons, which had me thinking, is this where the founding of the Second Sons, which is like the mercenary group that was used in Game of Thrones, is that where that came from? Did they found the Second Sons like here? I guess we'll see later. But, you know, Daemon is like, first of all, I can talk shit about my brother. You can't talk shit about my brother. But I do see your point. So it looks like they're going to link up to pull up to the Stepstones and see about the crab feeder. In the previews for the next episode or the coming episodes, it looks like it's not going to be easy, of course, but it looks like they might. I'm thinking that maybe they'll establish their own relationship with the free cities, that like after they come in and kick ass, then diplomacy can happen. And I think that that is going to further weaken Viserys's claim, his power, his seat on the throne. I also suspect that Rhaenyra and Daemon will ultimately just get together. And I think, again, because the Targaryens are famously incestuous, I think that that's really going to be what happens. Even as they were talking, it looked like, I felt like he was thinking like, why didn't I just kidnap this bitch and just move on with my life? Or maybe Rhaenyra was just like, shit, you know what would just make sense to keep everything peaceful is if, you know, uncle and niece just get together. Because again, this is a show where this family has historically just gotten it on with each other anyway. Those are my predictions. Slide in the comments. Let me know what you guys predict. I continue to be excited for the rest of the season. I am happy to have appointment television back where I'm actually looking forward to watching something and not just streaming it at a later time or binging it at a later time. So slide in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Let me know your theories, your predictions. Do not spoil anything for us if you read the book. Keep that to yourself. And I will join you guys next week for episode 3. Bye.